okay? Here in the centre of Skopje. And I can tell you that because there's a sign that says it right here. Welcome to Municipality Centre, or as it says in Macedonian, Dobre dojte po Opština Centar. So here we are. It's beautiful, beautiful city centre. Lots of the city is quite rough. It's not that different to Pristina, to be honest. I saw these things on Google Images of Skopje. I thought, wow, this is a beautiful city. But actually, apart from a few buildings, it's pretty similar to Pristina. This is what most of the city looks like. This is what like 90% of the city looks like. And there are there's the centre that we're going into now that looks like something looks like the Vatican City or something. Like just massive sort of temples, enormous statues. To be honest, it looks a bit intimidating. It looks a bit like, what's that city in Central Asia called? It's one of the ones that ends in Stan. I think it's Tajikistan, and it's it's kind of called like the North Korea of Central Asia. Drew Binsky does a really cool video on it, and it's just it's ruled by like a really totalitarian dictator, and everywhere all the cars have to be white to go in touch with the city. All the buildings are white, and you just got these enormous statues everywhere, and it's a bit intimidating. And that's what the centre of Macedonia, of Skopje, reminds me of a bit. So, but I like it. But it's quite recent. A lot of this. So I was chatting to some guys last night. We went to some bars with them, and they were telling me that they heard on a walking tour that it's very recent that the city's been done up. Literally the last 10 years. And before it, the whole main area that's now so beautiful was just car parks. Just car parks and all this shit. And then, so it's a very recent thing. Now, obviously, and you can see up here, there's a little cross. I don't know if you can see that. And it lights up at night. So last night, when I was walking, I could just see it. And it was really misty. And I could just see the light sort of shine through the mist. And it really makes you feel, something deep inside. Macedonia's a majority Orthodox country, which is why they use the Cyrillic script. As I think I mentioned, there are some ethnic Albanians. Albanian is also an official language here. So there are some mosques, I think, Islam is practiced here as well, indigenously. But the majority of places of worship I've seen have been Orthodox churches. Wow. See, there's some I keep saying that, post-communist architecture. Macedonia, Kosovo, was also part of Yugoslavia. So you get all these kind of post-Soviet buildings everywhere. Yeah, very cool. I'm just going out for a walk now because basically my flight back to the UK has been, I booked it through a company called My Trip, which is very, sorry. very bad company to book trips under. So if you ever want to book a trip to Macedonia, don't book it through my trip, because my basically got 2 legs of the flight, and one of them's been delayed, so that I can't catch the other one home. So I don't really know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I don't know how serious it is. If I would be able to get, worst comes to worst, I'll be able to get a ticket back to the UK from the first leg, which arrives in Verona. But I need to find some way back to the UK as soon as possible, because I actually got an exam at university in 5 days' time, and I'm gonna be fucked if I don't get back for that. So I'll find some way. But it's very stressful. Museum here. Quite interesting little bit of trivia. So the musée is the Macedonian, and as I understand it, that comes from French. It's the same word as Russian, and the Russians famously take a lot of words from French because the aristocracy really likes bit of ancient Greek, I think, maybe. Anyway, the Russian aristocracy took a lot of words from French, because French was seen as the language of Europe, and Russia in the 19th century, 19th century, wanted to sort of connect itself with Europe, because they were seen slightly as outcasts, as these sort of slightly wild place. So all the aristocracy learned French. So a lot of words in Russian, modern Russian, are actually French. So musée in French is the same as the Russian musée. And I'm wondering whether it's the same in Macedonian. Maybe someone can correct me on that. Here we are. Not recognising much of this from yesterday yet, but we must be close. Some old communist apartments. Macedonia was one of the few places where there was no bloodshed during the Yugoslav wars. It's the only place that split up from Yugoslavia without a single bullet being fired. So this city has been spared much of the devastation that happened in Bosnia, in Belgrade, in Kosovo, as you might have seen, in Pristina, in a lot of seaside towns in Croatia were heavily bombed. I've also met this man in the hostel, and he's in his sort of, I don't know, 40s or 50s or something, quite an old guy. And he lives in, he spent a lot of his time living in Serbia. And he's told us that apparently when NATO bombed Serbia, because NATO bombed Serbia in response to the Kosovo war, he says that apparently there was some uranium in the bombs. So according to him, 1 in every 2 Serbian has cancer or something like that, and so he wants to move somewhere else, which is why he's in Macedonia, because he doesn't want to get cancer. I'm not sure if I believe him. Do you? Oprostite. Centar?
Centar?
Da.
Natamo. Kidaš tamo, od pravo skroz i levo ga svrtiš.
Okay.
Gledaš onako kao kapela.
Kapela, da.
Levo i skroz.
Vala. No idea what he just said, but good to practice a bit of Macedonian. I think he told me to go this way. Makedonski. Oh wow, amazing. I always thought she was.
Born here.
She's born here.
She's born in Skopje.
Oh well, I always thought she was Albanian, but
Yeah, she's Albanian, but she's
born here.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, no, thank you. Isn't that interesting? Mother Teresa's born in Skopje, what is now North Macedonia. One thing you'll see a lot of in Macedonia is the red buses. During the communist era, Britain gave a lot of foreign aids to Macedonia, partly as a way of increasing their influence in the region. But the communist government at the time was very against it because they didn't want the region to be associating with the capitalist West. So they were banned. And when Yugoslavia collapsed, the Macedonians thought, you know what, those red buses, let's bring them back, because the British gave a lot of aid in the form of red buses. So they got all these red buses back into Macedonia, but they couldn't afford the ones from the UK. So the ones you see around the city are from China. Look at those. Some kind of king. And here we are. That's Alexander the Great. You might be able to see what I mean just from these streets. Lots of Turkish shisha bars, a lot of coffee shops. Camera, a door inside. Hvala. This looks a bit like a COD map. That kind of stuff. A few cats.
And then people started building more of that way.
Yes, yes.
Fucking hell, fam. Don't know what to my phone down there.